Maybe before we get started, I want to get maybe a show of hands. How many folks in the room today are device makers? Okay. How about developers? Maybe on the data side, infrastructure, et cetera. Okay. Carriers? Yeah, no, we have a few out there as well. And then SIs or VARs or sort of on the resale side, if you will. Okay. Good. So let me tell you a little bit about Cenex, and then I'll hand it over to my colleagues. We are a $14 billion company that's focused, as Steve mentioned, on distribution, really supply chain services. And we herald from the traditional IT market. So you think about the traditional stack of IT and servers and infrastructure, networking, clients, et cetera. But a number of years ago, we realized that the market was shifting, right? When we wanted to skate to where the puck was going. And we really invested in an end-to-end practice to really leverage the assets that we had from an IT perspective and really go out and recruit both new partners and then find partners that were really helping enterprises transform their business with the promise of what was then largely M2M and a lot of endpoint devices, and now we know as IoT, sort of a more expansive definition of what that is. So again, it's been a multi-year evolution for us, but we've seen sort of both sides of this. We've seen the maker side of this and a number of new OEMs coming to market. Clearly a number of new SIs, new types of SIs and VARs and resellers and integrators that have come to market. So again, our platform, what we've really created as an organization is this ability to bridge those two communities together, act as a classic supply chain and distribution partner, but really bring together sort of best of breed partners in that ecosystem to make these solutions a reality. And I think everything that you all know about IoT and that you hear here at the conferences, there's a lot of devices, there's a lot of parts, there's a lot of things. And for us, really our objective is to help bring those together, sort of demystify those, and build on sort of hubs of innovation. And Telit and our host sponsor here and the ILS platform with DeviceWise is really one of those hubs of innovation. We're going to surround that with the devices that you're making and for others of you that are selling in the room today. So, Steve?
Hi, my name is Scott Schuber, Director of Product Management for Business Government Solutions at US Cellular. For those of you that are not familiar with US Cellular, we're the 5th largest carrier in the US. We're in roughly 26 states and about 5 million subscribers. And I've been leading the transformation of our enterprise to be able to support selling solutions and building up the portfolio for the past 4 years or so at US Cellular. During that time, we've expanded our ecosystem, partnered with module makers, certainly Telit and others, a number of OEMs, several of which are in the room today, and really trying to reach out to our customer base, which is in rural and suburban America. They do have many similar problems that you see in the metro areas, but they've had a lot of opportunities to, we've had an opportunity to extend and what I call democratize IoT and bring that to them when a lot of other folks aren't necessarily engaging them, or they think it's really, complex and they don't know where to begin. And per our brand and what we really stand for in providing a strong network, but also a strong customer service orientation, we do a lot of consulting with our customer base and we have brought a variety of solutions to them, in four categories: fleet and asset management, our general communications category, operations, and then monitor and control. And so in those realms, we've been able to really provide our customers a tremendous amount of value, and we'll talk about how we're making money, but it's important to provide that relationship. It's a very key part of what we do. It's a key part of what we're all doing here today, is establishing those relationships and being able to build upon them and grow. I've been excited to be a part of that program and see this industry evolve, certainly moving from the pre-M2M days through M2M and IoT and wherever it extends from there. But I'm sure you all have a lot of interesting questions regarding how does a carrier make money, but at the end of the day, it's about providing value to the customer, and we seek to understand what those customer problems are. We dig in, we bring a variety of solution partners to the table. I've looked at it from a sort of a Trader Joe's model of having enough to really make a nice meal for the customer, but not overwhelm them with countless, product after product and solution after solution. Bring them a nice set of bring them a nice meal and let them really get a taste of what IoT can to deliver to either their business or to their government entity.
Thanks, Scott. My name is Jeff Pedro. I'm with Connected Development. We are an IoT engineering services firm. So we help companies that don't necessarily have the wherewithal in-house to build wirelessly connected devices. We can sort of do soup to nuts at the very beginning, where we sit down and ideate and come up with system architecture of what the device should do, how you build it, what types of components need to go in there so that you can meet your goals and meet the use cases that you're trying to bring to market for the consumer or for the enterprise business that you're looking to help. We can rapidly prototype those devices so you can get them out in the field and test them and play with them, see how they work, tweak it if we need to. We can help find contract manufacturing and get devices built, and along the way then as well get it certified with the appropriate government agencies and carrier networks like the FCC and PTCRB boards and the carrier labs. And so we can do that, the entire thing along with you, or a la carte any of those services that you might need that you don't have in-house. We are also a wholly owned subsidiary of a company called Multitech, which is a US-based manufacturer of IoT gateways and hubs and routers. So if you look at most the ready out-of-the-box IoT device solutions for your business, we're the custom engineering solutions when we can come in and design things from scratch that don't exist today. So that is what we really need to help build the device in the right way, right? You have to have the user experience that you want to create out of the box, or once you roll it out into the field. You have to have a well-designed product requirements doc, and that of course is the ideal customer who comes to us, right, with all of those things nicely buttoned up. But a lot of what we do can help to flush that out, right? We can sit down for a couple days and figure out, ask those difficult questions that maybe they aren't thinking of even because they don't know what it means when you all of a sudden add cellular connectivity into the camera that you want to sell to a customer. So the user experience is extremely key. It's extremely important, and you really want to get those as defined as possible because it then helps us and our engineers pick the right components to go into the device so that you're able to deliver on that experience at the end of the day. We're pretty well versed in what it all costs out there. From a go-to-market perspective, if you're talking the consumer side, we've got ideas. And I should have mentioned prior to my life at Connected Development, I was with AT&T's IoT group helping companies bring consumer devices to market. So well versed in what that means, right? What is the user experience? What's the revenue model? How much are people going to actually pay to have this connected device? Where are you going to distribute it? What's it going to look like in the store when you merchandise it? What's your marketing message out there to your audience? If you've got two cameras on a shelf and one has LTE in it and the other one doesn't, and the LTE one is $200 more, you need to be able to tell the story as to why a customer wants to pick yours off of the shelf versus the Wi-Fi version, for example. Yeah, you have to show the value.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, certainly connectivity and ARPUs and MRCs are always going to be a part of what we do, but we're certainly looking well beyond that. It starts with understanding what the customer is looking for, what are those needs that we can meet in our way with the portfolio that we have. And I know every carrier here has a slightly different portfolio, but at the end of the day, you can provide consulting services, you can provide a variety of other human resource type services for your customers, and then many, including ourselves, are looking well beyond the connectivity in terms of what applications can we bring. And so that's why we've partnered with a variety of VARs, telematic service providers, and others that really, where we resell or bill for those types of services, which allows us to generate additional revenue. In addition, we've looked at monetizing the hardware and accessories, and those are all additional ways that as the carrier can monetize. But I think you also have to understand, especially in our markets, in many cases where the data and analytics those are all great things. Just providing connectivity still is a key in making money. And many times we talk a lot about different standards here. Well, we might be competing against the satellites out there because they can't get connectivity in any other way. So to be able to provide connectivity for that camera or for those sensors that are in places that no one else reaches, those are definitely value points that we offer.
Excellent. And Tim, one of the questions I had for you was, recently Kevin Marai, your illustrious leader, spoke in a panel and also in Dealerscope magazine about your company at Synex. Your Synex is merged your cloud services group with your mobility group, and the value that brings to customers who are your VARs and your integrators and the people that buy products from you. So how important is the cloud with IoT and mobility in the whole selling proposition and what it brings to clients?
Yeah, this is one of those moments of truth when I tell you I did watch or did read that article, right? When the CEO is talking about that. Yeah, I did,
It's
yes.
a good idea.
I
You
did.
are an executive of the...
I did, yes. Yeah, no, Steve brings up a great point. So we see sort of the intersection of these technologies, coming together pretty rapidly. And you've heard that as a theme throughout, whether it be from our host here or I think anything you read about sort of the cloud needs mobile, mobile needs cloud, cloud versus mobile first kind of implementations. The reality is it's about taking the data and making sense of that and doing that efficiently, and we find most often that's efficiently done in the cloud. Clearly there's an opportunity around edge compute, and you've heard a lot about that today, and making decisions at the edge. It's very important. But as you take the real insights back from these devices and back from these networks, what do you do with that? And so, yeah, we made that determination internally that it really made sense for us to merge these two groups together. We have very similar business models in that you see a lot of subscription-based billing, which is very common to cloud. Again, back to the cloud needs connectivity. Both traditional wireless that we're talking about here today, but as well as still a lot of backhaul going on. So yeah, we brought those two together. We see a tremendous amount of synergy as we look at again, I'll refer back to our host here with Telit. The platform itself and the way that it's licensed and subscribed and ultimately deployed is very complementary to our cloud-based offerings. And then as you look at some of the ability to do data analytics and do something with that data, it made a ton of sense for us to bring those together. So we see these things moving in parallel. The other thing I'll tell you is we see, and I'm sure there's a number of folks in the room that see this as well, is there's a new type of partner or reseller, VAR, SI out there that's really has been given birth to through the advent of cloud services. And many of those folks are also very well entrenched in IoT and mobility. So again, from a customer perspective backward, a lot of the implementations look and feel and need to have cloud, and customers and the way that they're thinking and the way they want to consume is much more cloud-oriented than traditional infrastructure. So hence the reason of bringing those together.
Excellent. So one of the things that we are challenged with is education or lack thereof in our industry. Has anybody ever been a secret shopper to like an Apple store or an AT&T store or Best Buy or even Home Depot and look at their home automation area and asked anybody a question there with the dumbest looks on their faces? They couldn't answer a question about any of the boxes that were there or anything that's going on. And so if they're not educated, how is the end user going to be educated? So one thing that I believe is it's a really big pet peeve of mine, but I think it's an open-ended idea that we need to do in our industry, and we owe it to our industry, is the education. Education of VARs, education of customers, education of people coming to market with really cool products. So is it important as far as educating not only people that you're working with, but the people that are buying in order to generate new revenue and get them to understand it? Because the latest statistic is that only 15% of the consumers understand what IoT is. So we got 85% of them that still need to understand this. So how important is education to what you guys are doing? Yes. Go ahead.
So it's unbelievably important, and one of my favorite words as well, I think it falls in line here, is awareness. How are you going to grow awareness that your product exists